Antifa has had a facelift, and now the new male has a new face. RAM. RAM stands for the Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement. This group of activists seeks to undermine police activity, immigration policy, and even train revolutionaries to carry out their agenda. When you visit their website, you are first presented with a video. Here is a very short clip from that video, but I think it summarizes their goal fairly well.
The United States was built on slavery, and despite the American Civil War, this oppression never ended. The abolitionist movement fought against this tyranny, but modern slavery and mass brutality persist unchecked.
I believe these movements of various anarchist groups are something we should begin to take seriously. I have some of the information about their group from their website. Links to archived versions of the site are in the description, as well as the original link to the website. The reason I am mostly just reading from their website as opposed to writing my own description of all of it is so that you can hear how they describe their movement in their own words. The Revolutionary Abolitionist Movement is a political movement dedicated to freeing people from bondage and building resistance in the United States. We situate our political movement in the context of the abolitionist struggle against slavery and continue in the tradition from Nat Turner to the Black Liberation Movement. We believe the Civil War was never resolved, and the system of slavery transitioned into the prison industrial complex. Our struggle today must begin from this starting point. Lastly, as revolutionary anarchists, the abolitionist struggle must be extended to the state and capitalism, and the perpetrators of oppression. The revolutionary movement in the U.S. today is at a crossroads as fascist movements are expanding and the state becomes increasingly authoritarian. The Rojava Revolution in northern Syria provides us with a model for revolution today, with its foundation in communal and council-based political organization and militant defense. Short-term goal: the Underground Railroad. We will create networks for those facing detention, incarceration, deportation, or white supremacist violence to escape and live with dignity. We invite revolutionaries to help build a contemporary underground railroad outside the reach of the state. Revolutionaries, social centers, and Antifa groups that are already active can help build greater infrastructure of resistance to support those fleeing the state. From this foundation, we set the political framework for the next stages. Long-term goal: building the Abolitionist project. For the Abolitionist project to be successful, we must eventually transition from resistance to a revolutionary situation. Relationships and groups built through the Underground Railroad have a potential to become the foundation for organized defense groups, local councils, and regional/national councils. We invite comrades to coordinate our activities regionally and nationally as part of an abolitionist council. Political foundation: self-defense. Defense of oppressed people and of our political projects is paramount. We propose developing and tying defense teams to localities and collectives that are based on abolitionist practices. The Neighborhood Council. As the Underground Railroad network grows outside the jurisdiction of the state and reactionary forces, it is built through non-hierarchical relationships of trust. Collectives and councils, developed according to needs, issues, and political motivation, involve people in neighborhood self-governance. Conflict resolution and revolutionary justice. Forms of conflict resolution are essential for developing revolutionary relationships. Social cohesion rather than punishment must be the foundation. Abolitionist political growth seeks to destroy the prison, yet those oppressing others must be combated. Abolition of gender. The same forces that put people in bondage also utilize gender roles as the source of domination. Overcoming imprisonment and liberating humanity from captivity must happen simultaneously with the abolition of gender constraints. Expropriation and the cooperative economy. To carve out an autonomous territory or to begin the revolutionary process, goods, land, and tools must be expropriated or taken away from those who withhold them. We are striving towards a situation where necessities cannot be taken away from those who need them, but instead are shared with those who lack them. They even have a handbook for aspiring revolutionaries, and it says here on the second page, this book was written and published to inspire a new generation of revolutionaries. Isn't that quaint? But here you can see the table of contents, and it pretty much goes over what we just talked about in short summary. Join the revolutionary abolitionist movement. We are calling on revolutionaries to join by orienting their collectives, spaces, and defense groups towards revolutionary abolitionism. We are asking groups that agree with the political framework laid out in the text to help the Underground Railroad and join the broader network. If groups in multiple cities create platforms, have the means to train new revolutionaries, organize self-defense groups or teams, and create councils and or communes to establish political infrastructure, they will be helping to establish a viable resistance network. If you would like to build in person, you can request an organizer and we can potentially send someone to your town to work through ideas and establish projects. If you are looking for a group in your area, contact us and we can put you in touch. If organizing a collective is difficult in your area and you do not feel that there is the capacity to create larger political infrastructure just yet, we are also encouraging people to form solidarity groups that organize actions, study political theory, and hold events. Operating principles. Express solidarity with all oppressed peoples. Yes, hashtag yes all oppressed people. You are the ultimate champion. Encourage a diversity of tactics, utilizing direct action and mutual aid. Support all revolutionary fighters. Support political prisoners. Aid militants who get injured or have legal troubles as a result of their revolutionary work. Non-collaboration with law enforcement, non-profit organizations, or government administration. So you can't work with law enforcement, and I don't think they're going to abide by the non-profit organizations part of this clause, considering that Media Matters for America tends to lend a lot of assistance to groups like this. Really makes you think. Security. Maintain personal anonymity unless collectively decided otherwise. Be wary of journalists and generally prohibit their presence. Safeguard information about other revolutionaries. Keep disagreements out of public forums. There isn't much to say about RAM that hasn't already been stated in their flavorful and friendly language, but for those who don't have a knack for translating neo-Marxist jargon, I'll go ahead and give you a summary. This is a group that is planning on spreading out nationwide to resist the enforcement of immigration laws, directly interfere with police activity, and perhaps even seize property, implicitly with an angry mob behind them. They directly discourage people from having different opinions, so who is the authoritarian that they are so afraid of? Perhaps they have indeed stared into the abyss so long that they are now the embodiment of the very thing they resent. This new movement should be fun to watch, as we did need a new acronym to keep things fresh. Antifa, BAM, and now RAM. Hopefully they get a little more creative with their movements in the future and begin to have fun with their activism. That is the ironic thing about their movement, is that there is a strong opposition to individualism. Individualism that is the basis for their Marxist movement. We all stand together because of our unique identities that give us unique perspectives. Just don't share your unique perspective in a public forum. 2017 has been a fun year, and I really can't wait to see what unfolds in 2018. Watching the cry-bullies flail on the floor because no one is putting up with their pitiful attempts to intimidate others into silence has been wonderful. All of these political protests, in the form of tantrums, are going to increase as these people become increasingly agitated. This agitation is coming from, in majority, but not in whole, from the mainstream media, which seems set on instigating this revolution that these LARPing hipsters are so enthusiastic about. CNN, if anyone forgot, did a puff piece on Rose City Antifa earlier this year, making them out to be heroes, the last stand against evil in Trump's America. These people have not been reassured by anyone except those they dismiss as wrong-thinkers that everything is going to be okay. Because everything is going to be okay, despite everybody's histrionic whining. These people remind us, every chance they get, that our democracy has fallen to a foreign influence, and then they present no evidence besides logical fallacy after logical fallacy to back up their claims. If the mainstream media and the well-respected members of Congress tell you something over and over again, and they never present direct evidence that proves their claims, they must be speaking the truth, right? I mean, it's the mainstream media and Congress. It's not like society overwhelmingly distrusts both of these sets of people, right? Because in 2017, just asking for evidence to back up the claims that are being presented makes you some sort of conspiracy theorists.